This video is about a holy water spring located near the Ukrainian city of Chernivtsi, the center of the Bukovyna historical region. Here, in a picturesque meadow at the foot of the mountains, crystal clear water has been flowing from a forested slope for centuries. This life-giving water source has long been known to the residents of the Bila village, on whose territory it is located. Many generations of local residents have used this water spring, observing its healing properties and passing on the legends associated with it. Grateful people consecrated this place, built a chapel, and equipped the area for rest. At any time of the year, you can restore your physical and mental health here and mentally recharge. What exactly is this spring water? There used to be an information poster next to it. The results of laboratory analysis of the water are particularly noteworthy. It is potable, slightly mineralized, hydrocarbonate calcium water with a well-balanced component composition. According to the geological map, the water source is located in the area of the Neogene Age sedimentary rocks distribution at the junction of the Volyn-Podillia and Forecarpathian Artesian basins. The aquifer is located in the sandstones of the Kosiv Sandy Clayey Formation, Lower Neogene. To get an understanding about this water spring location, it is worth going 1 mile north to the Prut River. In this area, the semi-mountainous river comes close to the northern slopes of the Tsetsino mountain range that is the highest part of the Chernivtsi Heights, with altitudes of almost 1,800 feet. The mountains are on the right Prut River bank, so it actively cuts their foothills under the influence of the Coriolis force. Slope erosion intensifies, underground aquifers begin to emerge the surface. In the slopes of these mountains, in the centuries-old beech forests, some of them give rise to small streams which then flow into the Prut. The lower tier of these mountains that is a reservoir for the aquifer is slightly built up by private households of the Bila village outskirt. A little further west, right above the spring, they turn into small picturesque agricultural lands where peasants usually grow potatoes, corn, and some cereals. This area is beautiful at any time of the year, delighting the eye with a distant space and a wide panorama of the Chernivtsi Heights forested slopes. This place is an ancient Prut River terrace that, as the terrain rose and the river deepened, ended up almost 300 feet higher than it. In autumn, picturesque corn thistle paths are added to the landscape. Their dry stems tremble slightly in the warm autumn wind which contains sad notes of grass smoke. This water spring has been known to local residents for as long as the village itself has existed. The Bila village got its name from a stream flowing nearby, which was named White. The Bila is an Ukrainian translation of the white word, because of the wonderful taste and color of the water. There is even a suggestion that people settled here from the surrounding areas precisely because of the high quality and sufficient quantity of spring water, as well as because of the attractiveness of nature. Around the village and on its territory, archaeologists have discovered many sites from the Neolithic and even Paleolithic periods, some defensive structures of ancient Rus. A little further south, the land turns into a steppe that abuts a broad-leaved mountain forest. This forest receives the biggest amount of precipitation among the nearest area. Looking at this, one can be sure that this area, which potentially feeds the spring, does not contain any pollutants, neither natural nor anthropogenic. To this one can add that the aquifer of the spring is located many tens and even hundreds feet below the relief surface, so if surface water gets there, then only after a very long time of filtration through the overlying geological deposits. If you turn in the opposite direction, the floodplain of the Prut River is slightly visible through the treetops. We are standing directly above the water source, which is situated 100 feet below, under a clay cliff. How is this water spring maintained? From the transit road, past the chapel, an equipped path rises up, surrounded by large evergreen bushes and trees. On the right, a pond has been created, which is constantly replenished with spring water. In good weather, especially on weekends, it can be very crowded here. The roadside is occupied by parked cars, and there can be a long line of people with water containers at the spring. People greet each other, discuss the latest news, and politely give way to each other on the narrow steps. The spring itself is well equipped, so it is convenient to acquire water here, even when it rains, because there is no ubiquitous mud. As for the methods of water filling, someone holds a bottle directly under the pipe that is used to drainage the water from the aquifer. Some people put a bottle on the pipe itself, while the most experienced users bring long hoses with them, which they put on the pipe and pour water into containers placed just below. There is a legend that in the 19th century, in the neighboring Chernivtsi village, the Ungarian family suffered from the lack of children. The local priest advised them to move to the Bila area with good water and drink it as much as possible. The people did so, and their problem was solved. This is how the village of Bila was founded. The current oldest residents of the village, Victoria Terletska and Petro Panchuk, say that the spring in their memory was one of the main water arteries, since apart from it, there were only 2 wells for the entire village. During the rule of the Romanian kingdom, in 1938, the spring was consecrated, but a few years later the Soviet authorities forced the cross to be destroyed. The cultured and educated local residents could not fulfill such a criminal order and deceive the Bolsheviks. Simply moved the cross to the cemetery, to the graves of 3 soldiers of the First World War. During Soviet time, the spring did not disappear, but it began to lose its significance as household wells were actively being built. In independent Ukraine, in 2006, the local mayor Vasil Pidlubny won a tender to restore the spring, which was done soon. From that moment on, the water source began to gain unprecedented popularity due to the presence on the Google Maps and the widespread use of cars. According to doctors' conclusions, this water is very useful for reducing stomach acidity, treating heartburn and urolithiasis, restoring liver function, chronic hepatitis, diabetes, and obesity. The modern legend, based on some statistics, is appeared among users of the spring that this water restores vision when washed. It seems like a complete idol has been established, if not for the war in the country. Also, the water pressure is weakening from year to year that is associated with a decrease in precipitation due to global climate change. Each time presents its own challenges, and the corresponding generations have to go through them.